We get scared when we are not prepared. This is like being ready or not ready for a test at school. We all remember that. We remember those days of being prepared and that feeling of being confident because we are prepared. And we remember the stress and anxiety of not being prepared. This is the biggest thing in a survival situation, community, and then really the second is being prepared. Being prepared in all the ways that we talk about all the time, with having things outside the system, having non-bearer assets, things you own, things you have on you, Bitcoin, gold, silver, lead, ammo, firearms, food, energy, water purification, gardening skills, increasing your skills, outdoor skills, your communication skills, and having land if you can, but community. Community is the number one thing. And being prepared. If you are prepared, even if you have 10% of that, 20%, 30% of that stuff, you are going to sleep like a baby compared to the average person who has nothing, has zero. Zero. This is the calamity of the modern day American. Tim Kennedy just posted a video of a lady who was too obese. She fell because of a strong wind next to her car, and her baby was in a stroller and was literally just rolling towards like a 5 lanes or whatever, 4 or 6 lane highway. And she couldn't even get up. She kept falling because of the wind, because she was too obese. She couldn't even get to it. Being prepared, being the best version of yourself, getting prepared mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, so we can be the best person and live up to our highest potential, God's highest form of creation, is us. It's us. Guys, this is the only shot. This is not a practice. We get one chance. This is the only take. There's not like multiple takes. We don't get to like, oh, here, I'm going to do this again. You get one shot. Why not live it to the best of your ability? As Bob Proctor would say, stop living and being an extra in the story of the movie of your life. Don't be an extra. Be the main character. Be in charge. The greatest way to get rid of depression, to get rid of mental disorders and diseases, is to get physical, get prepared, and get physical, get active, go on walks, go start clearing your head, start clearing your body, good nutrition, and just moving, getting the blood flowing. It's the number one way we know to start clearing up all these things. And when you have people who can't even pretend or can't even protect their family, what chance do we have? Of course we're going to ask for government. Of course we're going to ask for other people to take care of us because we can't even take care of ourselves. As Ronald Reagan said, and I'm paraphrasing, but again, if man can't, the American experiment is not going to work. If man can't govern himself, then who in the world among us can govern other people? That's it. Mic drop. That's it. So it is on us to be prepared and be the shining beacon, shining city on the hill. We have to be the ones. Courageousness and being a leader is contagious. So be the people that we need to be, and it will latch on. We have a serious cultural rot, the fourth turning going on. We talk about this all the time. I've been talking about this for 2 decades, and it's coming to a head. It's coming to fruition. The dollar's collapsing. Banks are collapsing. This is all very predictable. This is not like, oh, we didn't see this coming. Fiat currencies on average usually live about 20 to 50 years or so. We're at year 52, 53. I mean, it's really like 20 to 40 years, I believe. So we're beyond that. It probably will extend a little bit longer, but things are falling apart, and this is very predictable. All fiat currencies go to zero. So we must be prepared. This is not, some drill. This is what our blog does. Please subscribe to the blog. Please, the link in the description, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because this is what we're going to continue to do. The algorithm hates truth, so we need to share these things out. YouTube's not going to promote these things. They're not going to put truth anywhere, quite honestly. Anyone who speaks truth, anyone who questions the mainstream narrative, they ain't going to put you anywhere. We have to do the hard work. I'm used to doing this my entire life and taking the hard path, quite honestly. Taking the hard way, taking the long way, and the proof of work, low time preference, doing things one foot after another, and being there, the tortoise and not the hare. Being there at the end of the day, being the consistent, reliable one who's always there, who always shows up, who always is trying to do the right thing. And hope I get it right more than not. But questioning everything and trying to use first principles and nature's law and see things clearly from, we all have biases, but see things from a perspective where we can gain truth, we can gain intellectual prowess, so we can figure out how to use logic and reasoning to get to correct answers. And we're never going to have it all, right? We're never going to have it all. But being prepared and getting prepared is the number one way we're going to be able to do this and feel confident in not be at the behest and at the beck and call of our overlords. This is how government gets more power. They create fiat foods and fiat money and fiat standards and all kinds of fiat garbage, and they get you sucked into this vortex where you're now completely dependent on the state. This is where we are. This is exactly the chapter of the story we're in right now. We are sucked into the state. We're all dependent on the state in some way, shape, or fashion. And the less you're dependent on the state, the less power they have. And they slowly go away. If all the people aren't dependent on the state, then no one's voting for more things from the state, basically taking something from one person and giving it to another person. That's all the state can do. The state doesn't have wealth. The state doesn't have anything. All they can do is tax and regulate and coerce people to do something by threatening someone else or taking something and giving it to another person. That's all they can do. What kind of world is that? Who wants to live in a world like that? And we incentivize that behavior. So therefore we reap what we sow. Unbelievable. Please share this out though, because algorithm does hate truth. And we get a lot of comments like, how does this not have 200,000 subscribers, stuff like that? I mean, I get DMs, I get all kinds of stuff. Guys, this is going to take one person at a time, one subscriber a day. That's what it is. If we can help one person a day, one subscriber a day, that's what matters. There's nothing like being on your game and being in the zone. Believe me, and we've all possibly felt like this at some point. This generally only happens if you are well rested and prepared. Good nutrition, good hydration, etc. As a former pro athlete, you would prepare and do everything you could to have that feeling of being in the zone where time slowed down. You felt like you were floating above the game. And this is something that you only got once in a while, quite honestly. I never figured out how to get it all the time. And I've even talked to many people that play at the highest levels, and they didn't feel like that all the time, right? So, but as an athlete, you're always trying to get there and optimize so you can be in the zone the most. And really, everything slows down, and you're thinking 5 steps ahead, and you're kind of floating up out of your body, up above the game. It's really amazing. And maybe some of you, let me know if you've felt that too in your life in different areas, whether it was sports or it's other things. Like things just were coming so easy, and you're almost outside your body. You're just thinking in your subconscious, and you weren't thinking. As one of my coaches when I was 10 or 12 said, hey, don't think, it weakens the team. And I don't remember who he was saying it to. I think he'd always say it. He'd say it a lot, so I think he probably said it to all of us at different points. But someone would say, I think this, or I think that. He's like, don't think, it weakens the team. And I didn't know for years what he meant, but what he meant was that when you're using your conscious mind and trying to think, you're not playing, you're not doing, you're not using your intuition, you're not just going and doing. And that was one of the big things. And one of the themes that I saw was there were a lot of the smarter players I saw, kind of intellectually or IQ wise, were sometimes had the hardest time because they were trying to think too much. And maybe someone who had a lower IQ just played. They just used their talents and abilities. So it really is an interesting dichotomy. It's a different story, a different video for a different day. We'll get into that at some point because I think that stuff's fascinating, just the psychology, the philosophy of everything. But when you were tired and didn't have the nutrition, I tested this many times throughout my career as well, whether like not drinking water in a day and then drinking a bunch of water the next day, and like how would you feel? So I tested all these things over time. But when you didn't have the proper nutrition and hydration and rest, you would just drag. You would feel terrible, and it was awful, quite honestly. This negative feeling breeds more negativity and the stress that leads to bad decisions. If we prepare, we can be free people that don't need those overlords and give ourselves and our children the freedoms and liberties that we are endowed with. Or if we shrug it off, we will become the serfs and prisoners that we deserve to be, quite frankly. The last few years have shown the world that the world we once knew is changing rapidly. Social unrest, chaos, and uncertainty are becoming the new norm. And as we predicted here for years, social unrest will just happen more and more and more. More of the George Floyd situations, more of you saw Target in San Francisco, I think we shared in here, just completely like plexiglass, everything, all the rows, plexiglass, because no one can trust anyone. This is going to happen more and more. The railways in California just completely littered with trash everywhere. You can't even see the railways because there's so much trash. And this is America, for crying out loud. America. You take out God and you break the money. The people have no vision. Where the people have no vision, they perish. Again, paraphrasing the Bible. While many people believe that the situation will improve, I believe that we are just at the beginning of a long journey that will test our resolve and strength. Preparing for what is coming is not just about stocking up on supplies or creating a bunker. It's about preparing yourself and your family to be self-sufficient and resilient in the face of adversity, like we talked about in the beginning. So I wanted to just go through, just spend the next minute or two just talking about what are simple things we can do to prepare. And again, this is what this is about, is what can we do to prepare just to get 10, 20, 30% ahead of the curve and be prepared for what is coming. Bare shells, empty shells. Is it nuclear strikes? Is it solar flares? Is it catastrophic natural events? Is it cyber attacks that Klaus and the gang have told us about? That there are going to be cyber attacks. There are going to be cyber pandemics. Are there climate lockdowns? Could be any. I mean, that's a large spectrum of things. What is it going to be? So we must be prepared. Here are a few things you can do to give yourself the best chances of surviving and thriving on the backside. Stock up on essential supplies. Food, water, medicine, and other essential supplies are critical to your survival. Stock up on these items in advance and make sure you have enough to last for at least several weeks. And I say several weeks just not to overwhelm you. I would get, several months. If you can get up to several months, that'd be great. But at least minimum 2 to 4 weeks. Minimum. They say you're 9 meals away from anarchy. Or 3 meals. Is it 3 meals? No, nine meals. And the stores have 72 hours, right? They have 9 meals basically. Stores have 9 meals or 72 hours worth of food, and then they're gone. They're done. Learn basic survival skills. In a chaotic world, basic survival skills like hunting, fishing, and first aid can be the difference between life and death. Take some time to learn these skills and teach them to your family. Create a support network. This is really the biggest. Probably should change this, actually, number one. Connect with like-minded people who share your values and vision for the future. Having a community of people who can support and help each other is essential for times of crisis. And it's like stuff here. And all of us here on our blog, on the YouTube channel, that follow me on Twitter. I mean, I look at everyone. That's my community. These are the people that are like-minded. We're building something together. We're building things together because we're going to need each other going forward. Shake your local rancher's hand. Shake your local farmer's hand. Shake your local sheriff's hand, who's there to protect the Constitution, not the state, the Constitution. So know the people around you. Secure your home. Make sure your home is secure and can withstand potential threats. Install a security system, reinforce doors and windows, and consider creating a safe room. Stay informed. Stay up to date with the latest news and events. Know what's happening in your community and beyond that so you can make informed decisions. Stay healthy, like we mentioned earlier as well. Physical and mental health are critical for your survival. Eat well and exercise, and take care of your mental health by practicing mindfulness and meditation. Say your prayers. Get quiet also. Do your meditation, and that's going to go a long, long way. Believe me. I've been practicing that for a handful of years. Develop a long-term plan. Don't just focus on short-term survival, but develop a long-term plan for your future. And this really kind of goes into goals as well. Short-term survival, but also long-term goals. What are your goals? What are some of the goals you've set for this year, for the next 5 years, the next decade? What are those goals? What are you aiming for? Think about how you can become self-sufficient and self-reliant, if the world around you is crumbling. While we cannot predict the future, we can prepare for it. By taking the steps outlined above, you can give yourself and your family the best chances of surviving and thriving in a world of chaos and uncertainty. Remember, failure equals human progress. Remember that. Failure equals human progress. Every time we fail, we have a chance to get better. As Bob says, when you're winning, you're having fun. And when you're losing, you're learning. So keep every failure, every loss as something you can learn from. Let us embrace the challenges ahead and come out stronger on the other side. Stay strong. I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. Please let me know what your thoughts are, how you're preparing, what you have done so far. You don't have to share everything, but what are some of the things you're doing to share or to prepare and for the future, and what is happening and what is coming, and how we are going to thrive in the backside of that. So I'd love to know. So put some in the comments there, and please share this out, because the algorithm hates truth, hates talking about realism, because they want you dependent on them. They don't want us talking about this stuff because they want you dependent on them, period. It's not financial advice, it's freedom advice. So we always say the different things to get prepared with. We mentioned them earlier. And question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.